What's going on, everyone? Scott here. Welcome back to the channel. So, the Golden Bachelorette Jones season is chugging right along, moving towards probably about the halfway point. I believe we're about 2 weeks away from hometown dates, so things are getting serious here on this season in this journey for Joan to find love. We're going to recap this week's episode as we always do every week. Before we do jump into the episode, though, if you could just hit that like and subscribe button down there for more Golden Bachelorette content and other stuff on the channel as well. Survivor, if you're a college sports fan, if you're an NBA, NFL fan, we got it all on the channel for you, so hit that subscribe button down there for all kinds of content. But let's just jump right into the episode. The cold open is Joan and Chuck hugging and crying outside the mansion, but after that we jump into the beginning of the episode. Charles is leading in some, is that martial arts or jujitsu? I'm not very familiar, but leading them in some exercise at the mansion. Mark is teaching Pascal how to do laundry and how to read the little laundry detergent measurer. I don't even know the right word for it, but we get the card for the group date. It's Jonathan, Pascal, Dan, Charles, Gary, Mark, Gil, Chuck, and Keith all going on the group date. So it appears that Jordan and Guy are getting the one-on-one dates. When they show up to the group date, Bachelorette and Bachelor Nation icon Kaitlyn Bristowe is there to help out with the date. Looks like a Magic Mike, Thunder Down Under, Chippendale type of show for the Golden Bachelorette men. Gary is like, well, now I know what Bear It All meant. The striptease date, but it all is to benefit a good cause and stand up to cancer. As Kaitlyn says, to bear it all to your doctor for the cause and towards cancer. And once they said that, everyone was like, let's do it. Obviously, this is a cause that is close to a lot of people's hearts, and Jones especially. So they are all down to give it their all for this group date. Mark explains how near and dear it is to his heart after losing his wife to cancer. He gets some lessons from the Chippendale dancers. Chuck says, can I have like 3 Chardonnays, please, to loosen the things up a little bit over here? And, oh God, Kelsey, I hope you're not watching this portion of the episode. No one should have to see their dad doing these types of dance moves on a stage in front of people on national television. But let's keep it moving. Keith says, I hope they throw money. If they do, I'm keeping it. And honestly, same. They all come out, start dancing to Take a Ride on Your Disco Stick. Didn't know if you had that on your Golden Bachelorette season bingo card, but there you go. Let's keep it moving. Kaitlyn Bristowe said Kelsey's dad is a dad I'd like to fool around with. Kelsey, I really hope you are not watching this part of the episode, but the guys killed it, I guess. I you can ask Joan. At the night portion, Chuck says how important the cause is to him as well, and just about how he'll get to talk to his mom tomorrow to see how she is doing. Keith tells Joan about how when he was 20, he actually wanted to be a Chippendale dancer, which he mentioned a little bit earlier in the episode as well. And he starts to do another dance for Joan, so he was really loving this episode and this date. And I'm so sorry, Joan. I guess maybe she liked it. I don't know who's to say, but Jonathan gives Joan his underwear or thong that he was wearing on stage. I guess not really a thong. I guess more of a Speedo, but still, I hope he washed those in the afternoon time since the day portion of that date, but I have a feeling maybe not. I don't know how accessible the laundry facilities are for them going from the day portion to the night portion of the date, but Harry calls his son to say happy birthday, and Joan tells him that his dad had to do a Chippendale dance today and gets a good laugh out of that. Mark and Joan connect and talk about how they both struggled with getting back out there after their wife and their husband had passed away. Chuck ends up getting the group date rose at the end of the night portion. After that, Joan says that he's the first person she can picture a future with since John, her husband, had passed away. The next morning, we see Chuck very emotional and crying, and says that his mother's been very sick and that he got the news that she passed this morning. And I just can't even imagine what he's going through at that point in this journey. And, you're on such a high, as he kind of mentions a little bit later, but he's on such a high, gets a group date rose, feeling this really strong connection, with this woman that, he's been dating over these couple weeks, while he's obviously been worried about his mom, as it sounds like she had been sick for a while here. And then waking up and getting that news, I just can't even imagine what he was going through. Just feel so bad for him. He tells the guys and that he's obviously going to leave and, be with his family and, do what he needs to do. And, they're all there to support him. He meets Joan outside and tells her what happened. And obviously, kind of similar, but obviously different situations that, Joan was in a really good spot with Gary on the Golden Bachelor season last year. And she left to be with her family as well. But then after Chuck leaves to go be with his family, as he should, Joan has to jump into a one-on-one date with Jordan. Obviously, still upset with Chuck going and everything that happened there, but they go to an ice skating rink in which Jordan isn't good at, apparently, and they have a private winter wonderland, which is actually kind of cool. Jordan is able to open up some more to Joan after he fell quite a bit during the ice skating portion of the date. They had a private concert from REO Speedwagon as well. Joan gives Jordan the rose as well at the end of the date. And it seems like it was a pretty good date. So now it's time the next day for guys one-on-one. They're at Joan's house cooking, and I love this date. Just like I always say on The Bachelor, Bachelorette, I always love these normal dates where you're doing normal stuff. You're cooking, you're going to the store, you're doing normal stuff. The skydiving, the private yachts, all that stuff is cool, but it's the normal day stuff that you get to do that I think is like you really get a glimpse into what a normal day could look like. He's an ER doc, but he's not that good in the kitchen, it appears. Back at the house, Mark's on the phone with Kelsey and Joey, telling them about his time so far on the show and how things are going with Joan. Guy's just chilling in the pool, throwing the football around. Jumping back to the one-on-one date, Guy is able to open up about why his marriage ended and how now that he's been able to get to a spot where he's as happy as he's been in years. And a lot of it has to do with her, with Joan. And Joan is hopeful, gives him the rose at the end of the date as well. The day of the rose ceremony cocktail party, Joan is worried that Chuck won't be able to come back. And I kind of got that vibe that was kind of leaving it open. I mean, usually when, someone on the show leaves, they usually don't come back or aren't able to come back. I don't know what. Obviously, like certain situations are different. This would be a reason if someone was able to leave the show and come back. Obviously, but I didn't know. I guess kind of seemed like that, but leaving that door open if he can come back, but still not sure at this point. Joan talked to her mom as she tells the guys when she gets to the house, and she's doing a lot better, so that is great to hear as well. Joan talks to Pascal and says that would have liked to see him put in a little more effort. I'm assuming at the group date, maybe try to make some more moments with her. Jonathan got her a box of Cheerios with Joan written on it. They talk about what their days would look like, waking up, having coffee, etc. Mark gives her a fire engine to remember this week from. Everyone has some nice moments with her, though, throughout the night. Keith did get a little in his head and nervous when talking to Joan out front. I think he was also worried he kept talking a lot about time, about wanting to get more time, assuming maybe that's why he got in his head a little bit. But then Chuck shows up with the rose on his jacket, and they're able to catch up. He was able to be with his family at home and, do what he needed to do with his family at home after the tragic passing of his mom. And then, he came back to be with Joan. He did ask about the ring that she was wearing the other day, and she said it was a ring that her husband had given her, and she was trying not to wear it here. But as Chuck says, and I think a lot of the guys would add to this as well, that, it was okay if she did want to wear it. Because obviously, and like a lot of the guy, like Joan has, and like a lot of the guys on this show this season have unfortunately lost their wives, or in Joan's case, her husband, and they'll always be a part of, their hearts and their lives, in general, even if they're not physically there. So I thought that was a nice moment as well. Like, comfort, it's like, if you want to wear the ring, you can wear the ring. Like, he'll always be a part of, your heart as well. And you should do what you want to do and what your heart feels like is right. At the rose ceremony, Gary, Charles, Dan, and Gil go home. The guy's getting choked up about missing everybody from The Journey is sweet, and something that you don't see in other parts of the franchise as well. I thought that was cool. The guys all come outside to give them hugs before they go. With the preview, again, did I hear Joan say, "I love you, Mark"? But some more ups and downs and emotions throughout the rest of the season. It appears, like I said, I think we're about 2 weeks away from hometown dates, so we're probably just about at that halfway point, maybe inching towards the other side of the halfway point. But interested to see how everything else turns out the rest of the season, how everything goes, and how Joan's journey to find love continues on this season of The Golden Bachelorette. But that'll do it for this one. Thank you all so much for watching. We'll see you in the next one. Peace out.